Hello, my name is Maha and I'm going to be reviewing the ever so popular novel by Gillian Flynn, Gone Girl. Gone Girl is a crime, thriller, and fictional novel which revolves around the dysfunctional marriage of a couple, Nick and Amy. Now, in the novel, Nick and Amy are both journalists who worked in New York but later lost their jobs around the same time due to downsizing and the introduction of the internet. So this meant they had no other choice but to move back to Nick's hometown, Missouri. And the timing couldn't have been more perfect because this also meant that they can take care of Nick's dying mother, who later passes away in the novel. Now, Amy, being a city girl who's originally from New York, found it very difficult to cope in Missouri, which is a suburb for her. And so that's when their marriage went downhill. On their 5th marriage anniversary, Amy disappears and Nick is thought to be the prime suspect for her abduction and possible murder. This is due to many reasons, but mainly because not only did Nick use the last of Amy's trust fund to open a bar in Missouri with his twin sister, but he also seemed undeterred, very unemotional, very cold in front of the cameras in the news, which made him even more suspicious. Now, what I don't understand is the hype over the novel. The novel was a #1 bestseller in New York and it gained many positive feedback, positive reviews from readers around the world. I personally found it very boring. It was so difficult to go through. The 432 pages was so hard to finish the story, and the ending wasn't even that satisfying. So in the first half of the book, the chapters were divided into journal entries or diaries by both Amy and Nick. So a chapter would be Nick's diary, talking about their current state, their life in Missouri, their house, how they make a living through the bar that he opened. And the other chapter would be Amy's diary, talking about their past, basically how she met Nick, how she fell in love with him, and then how much he has changed, how much he became really aggressive, how unhappy she is in the relationship in general. In the second half of the book, the readers start to realize that the accounts of the couple is somehow unreliable. Just the stories, the diaries, maybe some things are hidden, some things are untold, not the full truth is revealed. So by that part of the novel, the reader learns that Nick is having an affair and Amy, who's supposedly kidnapped, is actually in hiding. So the good thing about the book is, unlike the movie, it's very detailed. We learn more about the characters, we get an in-depth view about the characters, about their feelings, about their behaviors, so we as human beings can relate to them. Furthermore, later in the story, just before the climax or the major twist, the reader has already developed certain feelings towards the characters, Amy and Nick. So the reader is almost made to feel or be sure that Nick is actually involved in her abduction. And the reader also seems to sympathize with Amy, feeling that she was victimized throughout the marriage and that she was imprisoned later on when she was kidnapped. However, later on in the climax, when we discover that Amy is actually in hiding, the feelings towards Amy change from sympathy to anger, and the reader is just left feeling fooled and frustrated. The once victimized, innocent, weak woman is now seen as an evil plotter who not only manipulated her husband and the world, but her ex-boyfriend, who later had to pay the price for agreeing to help her and associate with her. Finally, the way the book ended is just very frustrating. I do not believe that the book is worthy of anyone's time. Now, Nick has been placed in a very unjust position and he's forced to stay in the marriage and he's forced to live with Amy and keep up this charade just because of Amy threatening him. So what we take away from this book is that no matter how long you've been with someone, whether it's a friend or your husband or wife or parents, you cannot really fully trust them. I don't think that's a good idea to end up with in reading any novel or any book. It just makes you be afraid of getting close to someone, of living with someone, and you're always having this doubt in your mind. I mean, how much could someone hate their significant other to the point that they want to frame them for murder and possibly get them jailed for life or even getting the death sentence? I mean, couldn't Amy just ask for a divorce? So I just feel that the entire storyline is very disturbing. It's very unrealistic, or at least I hope it is. And I really don't believe that this book is worthy of anyone's time. It's very disappointing. I've read so many amazing reviews about it. I said I really have to read this book, and I ended up feeling very disappointed, especially that the author herself is brilliant. She's very smart, and her other novels speak for that. But this novel somehow just falls under all her other work. So overall, this novel gets 2 stars from me, and I would not recommend it for anyone. So this is Maha with your book review. Thank you for watching.